So I'm here today with one of our officiants, Priscilla. Today we're going to talk about spiritual weddings. Now, spiritual weddings has many different meanings to many different people. So today we're going to go over different meanings of spiritual weddings, what it means, and how we create these spiritual weddings to make the weddings perfect just for our couples. Hi.
So good to see you today, Alan.
Good to see you too.
Thank you.
So spiritual weddings. Spiritual weddings are a unique way for couples to celebrate their marriage.
Yes.
But there's many misconceptions of what spiritual weddings mean.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about spiritual weddings and the different types.
Well, before we actually address the various spiritual weddings and the way in which our couples might honor that dimension in their life, I wanted to read a beautiful description of what spirituality means. And this comes from a 85-year-old Benedictine monk named Brother David, and is thought of as maybe one of the best descriptions of what spirituality is.
Okay.
Sometimes people get the mistaken notion that spirituality is a separate department of their life, the penthouse, so to speak, of their existence. But rightly understood, it is a vital awareness that pervades all realms of our being. I think that's important, pervades all realms of our being.
Okay.
Someone will say, I come alive when I listen to beautiful music, or I come alive when I'm in a garden or out in nature, or I come alive when I play golf. Brother David says, whenever and wherever we come alive, that is the area in which we are spiritual. And then we can say, I know at least how one is spiritual in that area in my life. To be vital, awake, aware, in as many areas of our lives as possible is the task that is never accomplished and takes a lifetime to achieve. Similar, there's beautiful poetry in the wedding reading literature having to do with that idea.
Spirituality too.
Yes.
So spirituality isn't necessarily religious spirituality.
No.
It can be the way you feel about the love that you have across from you, the way that you feel about your life in general.
Exactly.
Everybody has a different higher power in their life. Some people's higher power is God. Some people's higher power is their inner belief that they're special and that they're amazing.
Yes. And actually what you bring out is a very important part, and I want to refer to this, that in spirituality, there is the pursuit of an experience of that sense of higher power. My first spiritual teacher was a Lakota Dakota Sioux named Little Crow, and he put it very simply. He distilled this idea down. Everything is sacred. Everything is related, everything is connected. And in that, we all have the unique opportunity and responsibility in life to show up in as many ways consciously as we can, to contribute not only, of course, to those we love most dearly, but to contribute to the entire planet and the entire universe. So spirituality is thought of as the search for wholeness, for connection, for that sense of place in the greater cosmos or the greater scheme of things. It's a very personal experience. It's not usually related to any particular dogma or religious faith.
Right.
In fact, many people would consider themselves spiritual and have that recognition and not necessarily call that higher power God.
Right. Well, I think each person's spirituality is different.
Yes.
Each person feels differently about their connection with the universe, their connection with their partner.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's, I think, in a spiritual wedding, is we try to figure out what their connection is with the greater good, and what their connection with their partner is, and bring that out in the wedding to make that special and unique.
That's right.
And give it a whole thing, give it the whole Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, exactly.
Type thing, and make each couple feel that what we're doing, what we're designing for them, celebrates their spirituality.
Yes, and that's why we have this wonderful package, the greatest
That's right.
ceremony package, so that each couple's beliefs and sense of what this is, to the extent that they can articulate it, or we can find beautiful passages or poetry or song
That relate to them.
to relate to them.
Because what might be good for one couple may not be appropriate for another couple.
No, not at all. But it's my sense that people who wish to have a spiritually oriented ceremony have some sense that they are embarking on a slightly different approach to their marriage, that
Right.
they are engaged in a spiritual partnership, that together they're going to create what their purpose is together, which for many, of course, it's home and family and their careers and so forth. But people on a spiritual path generally would frame that in a larger perspective.
Right.
That there's a larger purpose that they are serving by their relationship, by their interest in, as someone in the literature says, you know, is your marriage going to ultimately create a sense of restriction and limitation,
Right.
or is it actually going to be your source of liberation?
Well, the way I look at it, spirituality in itself is not a destination. It's
No.
the journey.
Exactly.
And so creating that journey that two people will embark upon,
Yes.
that belief that their journey is special,
Yes.
that their journey is unique,
Yes.
that's what we try to bring out.
Absolutely.
And that's what we ask our couples to help us with when we're trying to design a spiritual type ceremony. We want their input on it. We want to know what makes them tick, what makes them excited, what makes them realize that this person that they're marrying is the right person, and how they see this quest going.
Yes, exactly. And you know, what I'm finding is that couples who wish to frame their ceremony in a spiritual way, they will use, by and large, they will use language like, we believe that we were destined to be together, and it took this and that and the other thing in their lives to prepare them for this experience. They might use the sense that there was fate, that there was a divine hand possibly that you know brought them together,
Right.
and is going to actually help
Lead them along
and
the way.
lead them along the way, exactly. And that they are in fact going to be stewards of each other's growth and development, which is a very different concept.
Exactly.
Very different concept. And I just got chills, kind of the goosebump factor, which to me suggests, there are some universal truths that speak very deeply to where we live in a soulful way. That's another thing. Couples on a spiritual path generally see themselves first as spiritual beings having a human experience,
Right.
right? There is the soul, the soulful aspect of ourselves that together with our personality and of course our physical body are joining together to engage in life in as awake and aware, as Brother David said, as possible. So if we're awake and aware, what does that mean? That means that as we're navigating our life experiences, and especially when we may hit a rough patch, we would then focus on how might this actually be serving our journey and our growth and development.
And the greater good.
And the greater good, absolutely. Rather than being necessarily this, this tragic or this very unfortunate thing that we're having to deal with. So then all of life becomes part of the process of awakening and therefore being able to serve not only the relationship, the family, the community, and the whole universe, and
that's what it's all about.
And that's really what it's all about.
That's right.
That's
so
it.
Spirituality is like the hokey pokey, right? You both put your right foot in, and you pull your right foot out.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's what it's all about.
And that's what it's all about.
Now, in addition to doing ceremonies, you do a lot of other different types of things.
Oh,
Tell me briefly a little bit about the other things that you do.
Thank you. Well, in my spiritual path, in my spiritual journey, At this point, I am very interested in serving elders, and particularly those who are getting ready to make their transition out of this life experience. So how to bring the sacred and the divine into that, so that they are less afraid and more open to the great mystery of the great beyond.
Right.
And I also have a holistic bodywork practice. So there too, my interest is in, through massage and through what's called vibrational medicine, helping to alleviate pain and suffering from the perspective of how can we look at this painful experience that you're in and transform it, so
Right.
that it becomes part of your healing and your self-discovery.
And that's also very important in the ceremony itself.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, getting married can be a painful experience.
Well,
I mean, the whole process of the setting up the ceremony can be a painful experience. Becoming one with another person can be a painful experience.
in fact, some of the literature would suggest, and those of us who have had, either a marriage or we're in a committed relationship, we understand this. At the moment of the wedding itself, this portal that we're standing at, this vista of possibilities, everything looks very positive, and it should.
It should.
It should.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, some of the literature says, well, the planning of the wedding and the planning of the ceremony actually activates many family issues
Right.
and relationship issues. And you know what? From my point of view, it's supposed to.
Yes.
It's supposed to, so we can then really appreciate that there is the whole spectrum, really the whole spectrum of all the human emotions, of all the human dynamics.
And if you can make it through that point,
Then guess what?
then it'll be a lot easier down the road.
It will be a lot.
Right.
It will be a lot easier.
So if we keep the spirit in our heart, the spirit in our soul,
Yes,
and being able to connect our spirits to other people's spirits,
exactly.
then the world will be great. And the marriages will be great.
Absolutely. And I would say then, the wonderful word namaste. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, light, and peace. And when you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, then we are one.
And hopefully we can be one with you and giving you the great spiritual wedding that you desire, that we can create for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.